Hi everybody, this is Jeriko from the California Conventions blog, coming to you from Anime Los Angeles 2022. I have here with us one of our guests of honor, Kazha. Well, say hello to our audience. So, Miss Oda, how has your Anime Los Angeles been?
It's been a blast. I've been having a great time.
You've been having a great time?
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear. I heard you were the judge over at the Battle of the Bands.
Oh yes.
How'd that go?
It was hard to judge. I mean, everyone was good, and some of bands I put the points are kind of 1 point different. I'm like trying to figure out which is it was hard.
It's hard to pick a winner.
Yes.
We've also noticed on your Twitter page that you're now growing your own ribbon collection. How long has it been?
Oh, it's to the ground.
Oh my god!
Yeah, to the ground. So if I leave it, I can't walk. So
it's just gonna drag around.
Yeah.
Oh my god. That makes me quite jealous. I only got this. Oh man. Okay. So on your bio, on the band website, you stated that you're a classically trained singer. Can you describe your musical education?
Yes, I was trained in Italian opera.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
it was because of my parents. They love classic music, and I wanted to become a rock singer, but they, told me I need to, learn classic to, build up the skills.
Right.
And so I was like, okay. And then I loved Italian opera, so yeah, since I was a kid, I've been singing Italian opera.
My parents said the same thing about me learning how to play the classical piano before I can learn how to play guitar.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh well, the skills carry over.
Yeah.
But now I've been hearing your opera influence in your albums, and you have to say you have quite a voice.
Oh, thank you.
Who would you say would be your major influences for your work?
That's a hard question because there's tons of bands that I love, and also guitarist Hideki, who's the founder of the band.
Yeah.
We found this band together, and he's more influenced in Japanese, rock, like ex-Japan, Lunacy. He's a big fan of those music.
Yeah.
And I'm more into probably Western, USA rock, classic rock. But Hideki also loves like Guns N' Roses, of course Metallica or Skid Row. There's tons of bands we love, so it's all kind of mixed, but yeah.
I can hear it in a lot of your songs in your discography. So, talking about your songs, you describe your music as combining the softness of a falling feather and the heaviness of a hurricane. Are you hoping to continue this trend,
Yes.
or are you open to changing your approach musically in the future?
In some ways, like we make things heavier sometimes, but we do want to keep the same feeling, so our fans not gonna disappoint. I mean, we don't want to change too much image,
Right.
but we do want to evolve somehow. But
I mean, it hits hard on like in one track, and next thing you know, it's like I'm laying on a pillow. It's nice, but then it's a wake-up call. So, interestingly, some of your songs, such as Red and Silver White Sunshine, are almost at odds with each other in terms of mood and tone. Would you say that's an accurate portrayal of your musical description?
yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So, I've also noticed in your albums that your instrumentation has been pretty consistent. So, we're talking guitars, obviously your vocals, bass, piano. Have we ever thought of experimenting with other sounds or instruments?
Yes, we would love to add some, strings instruments or some, kind of techno kind of sound. Like
Oh.
nowadays, people love dancing music, and you know, we kind of want to try to add a little bit of electronic, you know,
Okay.
sound.
Can we expect an EDM sound out of you?
Maybe not too, you know, too obvious, but like could be, you know,
Could be.
in the background probably, yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm all for it if you decide to. Continuing on. So you've worked alongside Hideki-san with him providing guitars and also working as a producer. How can you describe the creative process between you two? So like,
Yeah.
would it be like, is it a very like vocal back and forth? Like, are you guys just throwing ideas and be like, oh, that's awesome, I want to do that? Yeah, writing, yeah.
We actually, you know, how I write is very kind of like work. You know, I need to sit down and work. Not like, oh, idea came up, so like throw it. Or, you know, it's more like work. I sit down and work. But
Yeah.
Hideki is, you know, he loves guitar so much. He practiced too long. It's like so long, you know. And then he gives me a lot of good riffs, you know.
Right.
So like he records some cool riffs and gives me ideas, you know. And then I usually cut them off on my, you know, computer. I cut them off and then like line them up and then, you know, decide which part will be the intro, which part will be, you know, good for the chorus. And so I kind of build it up like a puzzle, yeah, with his riffs. And then I will just put the melody and lyrics. And when it works, it's done in, you know, in a day or maybe 2-3 hours.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when it's quick, it goes. And if I take more than like, I don't know, 4 or 5 days to finish the song,
Yes.
I'll just toast it. like it's kind of like the feeling, you know. If it doesn't work, it will not work. So I wouldn't, you know, for the albums, like for the music, I don't want to use a song that I'm not too sure.
Right.
You know, so like I want that feeling like, okay, this is gonna be done in a day or, you know, in 2 hours. That's really good, you know.
Would you
And-
say you have a bit of a perfectionist streak then?
Oh, maybe. Yeah. But yeah, so the way we work is like, he gives me riffs, ideas. I cut them into pieces, line them up, and then put the melody, lyrics. And then Hideki does all the background arrangement after that.
Yeah.
You know, depending on how the melody goes, he would work on the, you know, guitar solo, even the drum parts, and, you know, everything. He does everything. Yeah.
Well, you guys have been working really well because it sounds amazing.
Oh, thank you.
So, Kazha was founded in Los Angeles, but has since called Memphis home since 2015. So, what directed your move to Tennessee?
So the first album was recorded in Japan. We were here, kind of visiting, and you know, started the band here while we were here, and then went back to Japan, found the drummer, and recorded the first album, and then released EP in Japan.
Right.
First EP was recorded and released in Japan.
Yes.
But then after that, for some reason, the MySpace was big at the time. And then, you know, we had a lot of requests from US, you know, conventions,
Yeah.
especially to tour, you know. So we just decided to come to US again. You know, we came back with our visa and then started touring. And then one point when we were in Los Angeles, we met a guy who runs a lot of business in Memphis, Tennessee.
Right.
Yeah, and he offered us to move to Memphis because, you know, they call Memphis as birthplace of rock and roll. And Elvis is, you know, big there too. And I didn't know, like, I was like, where's Tennessee? I mean, I was like, where's Memphis? But when I found out about, you know, the birthplace of rock and roll, I was like, that's where we need to be, you know. And on the map, it's kind of like closer to the central. Well, I guess Oklahoma might be in the central, but
Right.
yeah, like all roads leads to Memphis. So like yeah, we visited for a few weeks to see the city, and it was nice, really nice city, and everything was cheaper. Here gas is so high.
All right.
Yeah.
So talking about Memphis, have you visited Graceland?
Yes. But the thing is, I haven't seen the Memphis Elvis house yet.
Oh,
You know, I
okay.
just drove by.
Oh, maybe you should
Yeah.
visit one of these days,
Yeah.
right? So, you've also mentioned in your bio that you're an official ambassador for Music Export Memphis.
Yes.
Can you explain your role as a music ambassador?
Yes, I'm supposed to, be outside of Memphis
Right.
or outside of the Tennessee area. I mean, it could be anywhere other than Memphis City, but I'm supposed to go out and represent the city, talk about Memphis,
Right.
and let everybody know, how great Memphis is. And so I'm like the person who, how do you call it, advertise the Memphis city.
Right.
So yeah, when I go to tour, convention and stuff, I always talk about Memphis and like tell people to come, visit the city. And yeah.
Well, I mean, I've always wanted to visit Memphis, considering last year I actually visited Nashville, home of country. Because of how historic Nashville is as well, and given Nashville is within, like, say, stone's throw distance from Memphis, would you ever consider possibly putting in some country influence as well with your music?
Oh, into our music.
Yeah.
Well, I do listen to some country.
Right.
And I love their feeling and stuff like love and but could be the country music that I listen to is more nowadays. It's more pop.
Oh, right.
So I could add, but we do have already like poppy song too,
True.
and so
Well, I mean, hey,
yeah.
sky's the limit. Okay, a few more questions. So, your latest self-titled album was released back in 2018. Can we anticipate the possibility of a new single or album in the near future?
Yes. We are working on some new songs.
Okay.
But the thing is, even though the third album was released in 2018, 19 and 20 kind of gone because of the pandemic. And, we weren't able to promote, we couldn't promote the third album as much as we wanted to.
No.
So yeah, we still want to, bring it to all the states, cities, and so we might wait a little more to release the next one.
Right.
But we are working on new music. So yeah.
So, since you mentioned the pandemic, how has the pandemic affected your songwriting?
We've been through hardship. Maybe in my musical, career, like it might be, those 2 years. I mean, has been the hardest time.
Yeah.
We even thought like we may not be able to go back on stage anymore. And at some point we were like, what's the point writing a song? What's the point, practicing if we never get to go out and see people, And so a little more, how do you call it? Musically, it hasn't changed too much. Like, the writing style and everything is similar still, but I'm more focusing on people's feeling, depression, because a lot of people went through depression while COVID.
Yeah.
And I've had some depression too, and yeah, we all had, you know. So yeah, the feeling of the song may be little on the sad, sad side, but still, we want to hope for the better future. So yeah, lyric-wise, it kind of helped, in a good way.
I think it's healthy in order to express those emotions, whether it be sad, whether it be happiness. And I think a lot of us within the pandemic has really needed to explore what it meant to be a human being. And I think your music, even though you recorded before the pandemic, really expresses those highs and those lows, the feeling of that feather and the force of a hurricane. So I've been really digging your stuff since I found you.
Oh, thank you.
So, as we close up, where can we see you perform next?
Yes.
And can we expect you at Anime Los Angeles again?
Oh, I hope so. I mean, it really...
You hear that, guys?
It really depends on the con, so who they want to bring, So, but I do hope to be back. But yeah, the next is we need to head to North Carolina, which is coast to coast, because that's east side. But yeah, we are going to North Carolina and Birmingham, Alabama, and of course South Carolina, Texas. Yeah, so many cons are coming up, and we're trying to book some, local bar shows too. Right. But right now we're caught up with so many cons. Like, this month was like three weeks in a row. And,
Well, I'm glad you're keeping busy at least, especially. We're really hoping that everything gets more under control as the pandemic goes on. We can see more of you. So, to close out, where can they find your work?
Yes, iTunes, Spotify, of course YouTube, and almost everywhere. Google Play probably, and Amazon. And,
Is there anywhere they can reach out to you on social media?
Yes, Facebook. We use Facebook the most. Okay. And then Instagram and Twitter.
All right.
And I also do some live streaming on YouTube.
So we just search Kazha at Twitter, Facebook, Instagram.
Most of the time you kind of need to add official, Kazha official.
Okay. Yeah. So we'll make sure to find you then. Still, thank you so much for taking your time out today, Miss Oda. This has been Jeriko with the California Conventions blog here at Anime Los Angeles 2022. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Hope to see you at the next convention. Peace!